Welcome to Kansas Ag Report with your host, Brian Hallman.
Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Brian Hallman, and here's our lineup for today's show. In Ag News, we'll take a look at local and national headlines affecting Kansas farmers. In our Ag Feature, we sit down with Dalton Henry from Kansas Wheat to get an update on this year's winter wheat crop. And inside Kansas Ag, Kansas Soybean gives us the results of the Yield and Value Contest, and Farm Bureau informs us on Be Ag Wise. And the news you need to know, we get our weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association, we'll look back at last week's market activity with the guys from Paragon, and we'll let you know about important events coming up around the state of Kansas. Glad you could join us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Dick Edwards in Manhattan, selling America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150, for over 30 years. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. kansassoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Dick Edwards Auto Plaza in Junction City, home of this year's Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram Truck. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Here's our national headlines for this week in Ag News. A third naturally occurring strain of porcine epidemic diarrhea virus in pigs has been identified. The University of Minnesota Veterinary Diagnostic Lab discovered the strain, and it was confirmed by both the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention and the American Association of Swine Veterinarians. For more information about this particular strain of PEDV, go to cdc.gov. On March 11th, Cargill will close its Springfield, Missouri meat slicing and packaging plant, moving those operations to Nebraska and Texas. Company officials say that these two plants are better locations for materials, scale of operations, and shipping logistics. Cargill is one of the largest turkey producers and processors in the U.S. U.S. Senator Pat Roberts from Kansas has been selected to chair the Senate Committee on Agriculture, Nutrition, and Forestry. Roberts makes history becoming the first member of Congress to hold the top agriculture position in both the House of Representatives and the Senate. Roberts will continue to serve on other committees, including the Senate Finance Committee and the Ethics Committee. 4 of the key Ag Committee posts are being filled by fellow Kansans. In local news, Senator Jerry Moran, a member of the U.S. Senate Appropriations Committee, announced that the 2015 Homeland Security Appropriations Bill includes $300 million in funds for construction of the National Bio and Agro Defense Facility, or NBAF. Final passage of this funding is critical for the construction of the Manhattan-based facility. NBAF will employ approximately 326 permanent employees and support over 700 construction jobs. 3 Kansas producers were announced as category winners of the 2014 National Sorghum Producers Yield Contest. Farmers from 27 states entered this year's contest, and Kai Gamble of Kansas is an irrigated national food grade winner with a yield of 177 bushels per acre. Stanley Brandyberry Farms of Kansas won the non-irrigated national food grade with 118 bushels per acre, and Taylor Equipment of Kansas won the reduced till irrigated category with 202 bushels per acre. Congratulations to our Kansas winners, who will be recognized on February 27th at the Commodity Classic in Phoenix, Arizona. Kansas State University is leading a 5-year study to better understand how climate change affects beef production across the southern Great Plains. In cooperation with several universities, scientists and researchers are looking at ways to reduce the impact of climate change on cattle along with grazing and croplands. The study is also researching ways to lessen the current environmental footprint of beef production. Up next in our Ag Feature, we sit down with Dalton Henry from Kansas Wheat to get an update on this year's winter wheat crop. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. Please stay tuned.
This segment brought to you by Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. GrassandGrain.com.
A.B. Flint Motor Company, selling quality used cars and trucks in Southeast Topeka at 32nd and South Kansas Avenue. Integrity Gun and Pawn, 2 Topeka locations specializing in firearms and training. igpawn.com to learn more. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
I'm Dr. Frank Lyons, a physician here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. As one of the only standalone stem cell centers in the U.S., we use your stem cells as therapy for arthritis and some autoimmune diseases.
I'm Dr. Andrew Poe, here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Utilizing the latest technology under strict protocols, we're able to harvest your stem cells from your own fat to treat a variety of medical conditions. The best part about it is, it's a same-day surgical procedure and requires no general anesthesia.
American innovation is being driven in places you might not expect by people like Brent Hayek, an Oklahoma family farmer, who recently set a world land speed record in a Ford Super Duty pickup truck powered by renewable B20 biodiesel. Advanced performance is here, now, putting America on the fast track to more jobs and energy independence. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.
Dick Edwards is taking North Central Kansas by storm. We've been bending over backwards to exceed your car buying experience for over 30 years. Choose from one of our 9 different new car brands or from our second-to-none used selection. Currently, with over 700 vehicles to choose from, we definitely have the one for you. Whether you're coming from the north, south, east, or west, our sales and service departments will work tirelessly to do what's right for you. Dick Edwards in Manhattan and Junction City. Bending over backwards for you.
Today we're joined by Dalton Henry from Kansas Wheat, and we're going to talk about winter wheat here in the state of Kansas, and not only the state of Kansas, but around the U.S. So Dalton, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me on, Brian.
Planted into some moisture this year. Haven't gotten any late fall moisture. We've certainly gotten cold weather, but no moisture. It makes things a little tough.
It certainly does, but I think when we think about this year's winter wheat crop compared to the last 3 or 4 years across a lot of the state, I think that folks have got to feel pretty good about the state of the winter wheat crop out there. You mentioned, we've been short on moisture really since November for the most part, and we maybe got in certain places of the state, had great moisture in September. The crop went in, warm, open, long fall, and maybe got a little bit too much growth and used a little bit more moisture than guys would like. But at the same time, I think the fact that the crop is up across the state, it's out of the ground, should have been well rooted into moisture. It's got to have folks feeling pretty good at this point.
Well, USDA numbers came out this week. We're a little short. I'd call us flat. Is basically what I would call us. So, I mean, the past couple of years have been so tough. I mean, we're flat. You got to feel good about that number.
Yep, I think that when you look at what a disastrous weather pattern the 2014 winter wheat crop faced, and just really being one of the smallest wheat crops that Kansas farmers had harvested in really decades. To be flat, or 9.4 million acres, and farmers recognizing that wheat is really a viable option, a good option, and especially to see the acres coming back through central Kansas. I think with the great fall harvest that producers had this last year in Kansas, and really and that was the first one in several years that we'd seen there. We were a little bit nervous of a lot of those wheat acres through the central corridor follow soybeans or follow corn. Were we going to have time in the fall to get that 2015 wheat crop in the ground and get it off to a good start? And I think by and large, the USDA's numbers show that that's happened.
Kind of going back to that past couple years, really tough. Some of the research that's being done through the Wheat Innovation Center here at the Kansas Wheat Office is really important to farmers throughout the state of Kansas, coming up with new varieties that make it easier for them to grow wheat in tough years.
Absolutely, and of course, Kansas farmers support the work that goes on here at the Kansas Wheat Innovation Center through the 2 cents per bushel checkoff. And I think from a research perspective, hopefully farmers can feel good about that investment and know that it really is going to good work in new variety development, insect and disease resistance. And I think one of the major highlights we have at the center is our doubled haploid processes, one of the largest doubled haploid labs in the world. And that really equates to getting new varieties in farmers' hands faster.
Perfect. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to finish up with Dalton Henry at Kansas Wheat. You're watching kansasAGreport. We'll see you in just a minute.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life. Farmers Insurance, your best protection against the unexpected. Call Agent Dan Key at 785-408-5459. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. Blue River Traders, the finest selection of Western-style furniture for your home. BlueRiverTraders.com.
Thanks for staying with us this morning. Dalton, thank you for staying with us. We reported a couple of weeks ago that winter wheat was left off the APH, Average Production History, exclusion for 2015. I was a little shocked when I reported that. I'm assuming you guys probably were as well.
Yeah, it was frustrating and a little bit shocking for maybe the folks out there that aren't real familiar with it. This was a new provision included in the 2014 Farm Bill that really recognized that at times it doesn't matter how good of a manager a farmer is or how good of a producer they are, or that they put in all the effort, and sometimes Mother Nature just really stacks the odds against them. And that's what we've seen largely across a lot of the Great Plains a number of years here recently. The worst drought in 50 years or the worst drought in 70 years in terms of precip. And so what that yield exclusion would do is anytime a county's yield dropped below the previous 10-year rolling average, so really a widespread, substantial loss in production across the county, a farmer would have the option to exclude that yield from their average production history, which is what their crop insurance guarantee is really based on. So recognizing that sometimes things are completely out of a producer's control and that that's a 1 in 30, a 1 in 50, or a 1 in 70 year event that happened to fall in the last 10 years.
Coming into fall of 2015, going into 2016, that will be added back into APH.
Yeah, and so that'll be an option for winter wheat producers, is what the RMA has said, or the Risk Management Agency has said, that just didn't have time, didn't have the data, didn't have the people to roll that out in time, which is frustrating. But the good news is it seems that they do intend to release that in time for the 2016 winter wheat crop. And I think that there have been a number of us that have held out hope that there would still be an option to retroactively do that for the 2015 wheat crop, the crop that's in the ground now. The good news is for Kansas producers of corn or milo or soybeans, that's going to be an option this spring. And I think that the drought certainly wasn't limited to wheat producers over the last 3 or 4 years. And so that's going to be something that can really substantially improve their coverage in other commodities.
Well, you look at what we had as far as fall crops. I mean, we had a fantastic year for fall crop guys. It's unfortunate that the wheat guys didn't get to have their stuff added to APH.
Yep. It really is, but at the same time, I think you look at the 2011 and 12 soybean crops, really from the little bit of work that we've done, large swaths of east central and southeast Kansas, and really even into central Kansas, should be looking at least one, if not both of those years being able to be excluded from that average production history. And that'll be a big benefit to those producers.
Well, we want to remind everybody that go to the Kansas Wheat website, new logo, new tagline, Rediscover Wheat. We've been joined by Dalton Henry from Kansas Wheat. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. Please stay tuned. Thanks for making Kansas Ag Report the #1 ag television program in Kansas.
The best farming practices and wisely selected seed stock varieties, combined with favorable growing conditions to help Kansas farmers achieve high soybean yields and value in 2014. The annual Kansas Soybean Yield and Value Contests recognize outstanding Kansas farmers and provide fun incentives for them to improve. They also allow the Kansas Soybean Association, with checkoff funding from the Kansas Soybean Commission, to share what participants learned to help all Kansas soybean farmers. The yield contest included 33 entries. 24 winners in 12 categories had verified yields averaging 74.9 bushels per acre, compared to the 36 bushel state average for 2014. The value contest had 19 entries. For their protein and oil contents, the top 3 entries averaged $1.52, or 15%, in increased value over the base cash price of $10.18. Bob Weatharn from Clay Center topped the irrigated entries with 99.8 bushels per acre. Highlands' Meredith Jeske had the best dryland entry with 84.3 bushels per acre. Harold Koster from Hoxie won the value contest with $1.56 per bushel of increased value, which was 15.3% over the cash price. For complete results and winners' photos, visit kansassoybeans.org/contests on the web.
Are you familiar with the phrase, if we don't tell agriculture's story, who will? Would you like help telling agriculture's story? Kansas Farm Bureau and the Kansas Foundation for Agriculture in the Classroom will host our 8th annual Be Ag-Wise Professional Development Workshop soon. This year's theme is Water Conservation, Every Drop Counts, and it ties in nicely with the state's 50-year water vision. These workshops will feature hands-on learning labs, valuable lesson plans, and plenty of resources focusing on the importance of water conservation. All workshops will run from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The first workshop will be held on Saturday, February 21st, and those registered will have 4 locations to choose from. Manhattan will be the main location, but the workshop will also be broadcast via satellite to Great Bend, Pittsburgh, and Ottawa. The second workshop will be held on Saturday, March 14th in Hayes. The exact address of the location you select will be sent with your workshop confirmation. Attendees will earn their Project WET certification, and staff from the Kansas Association for Conservation and Environmental Education, also known as KACEE, will present the main portion of the Project WET training. You can learn more about them at projectwet.org. Registration fees for this workshop are $60 per person and include lunch, resource materials, and if you're interested, professional development hours. The registration deadline for all locations has been extended to February 6th. For workshop information, please visit kfb.org/beagwise.
This segment brought to you by Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. A.B. Flint Motor Company, selling quality used cars and trucks in Southeast Topeka at 32nd and South Kansas Avenue. Integrity Gun and Pawn, 2 Topeka locations specializing in firearms and training. igpawn.com to learn more. Impact Satellite, your local authorized DirecTV dealer. Impact Satellite at 785-554-5974.
Dick Edwards is taking North Central Kansas by storm. We've been bending over backwards to exceed your car buying experience for over 30 years. Choose from one of our 9 different new car brands or from our second-to-none used selection. Currently, with over 700 vehicles to choose from, we definitely have the one for you. Whether you're coming from the north, south, east, or west, our sales and service departments will work tirelessly to do what's right for you. Dick Edwards in Manhattan and Junction City, bending over backwards for you.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Tammy the Pro Home Plus is all about providing warmth and kindness to aging individuals who find it difficult to live on their own. Tammy's team is made up of experienced caregivers and nurses committed to the highest level of individualized care, focusing on health and well-being, and assisting with nutrition, grooming, medications, therapies, and daily living needs, all in a warm, caring environment. Call Tammy the Pro Home Plus today at 785-383-7094 to learn how we can help.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
This hog is head over hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Dick Edwards is taking North Central Kansas by storm. We've been bending over backwards to exceed your car buying experience for over 30 years. Choose from one of our 9 different new car brands or from our second to none used selection. Currently, with over 700 vehicles to choose from, we definitely have the one for you. Whether you're coming from the north, south, east, or west, our sales and service departments will work tirelessly to do what's right for you. Dick Edwards in Manhattan and Junction City. Bending over backwards for you.
Since 1983, the Hydrobed has been utilized on cattle operations throughout North America. The Hydrobed equips your 3/4 or 1-ton truck for hay handling and feeding. Variable speed cable controls or the optional wireless remote enable you to haul, transport, and unroll 2 round bales weighing up to 3,000 pounds each. A mechanical free float automatically compensates for uneven ground and out of round bales, isolating you and the truck from impact of bale unrolling. To find out how the Hydrobed can improve your feeding efficiency, call or visit us on the web at triple-c-inc.com.
Beef exports set a new value record of $6.49 billion last year, with December statistics yet to add before the 2014 total is complete. According to the U.S. Meat Export Federation, the value of U.S. beef exports during November 2014 was 19% higher compared to a year earlier, coming in at $626.7 million. Japan continued to be the largest market for U.S. beef, with the export value through 11 months at $1.47 billion. Other leading markets for U.S. beef during the period were Mexico at $1.05 billion and Hong Kong, which surpassed $1 billion for the first time. Strong momentum continued for U.S. beef in South Korea, where exports were up 44% by value through November at $762.8 million. Export value per head processed in the U.S. was $359.77 in November, up 35% from November 2013. For January through November of last year, the average export value per head processed was at $293.96. According to the Meat Export Federation, which is partly funded with beef checkoff dollars, the outlook for 2015 shows good potential for further expansion in U.S. red meat exports.
Good morning. I'm Eric Osterhaus with Paragon Ag Advisors. Our first USDA report of the year provided a bit of a mixed bag for us. Friendly for corn, but bearish for wheat and beans. Bigger than expected production and the outlook of increased selling in the soybean market weighed on the bean futures. If we don't see some significant weather issues developing in South America, the market looks rather soft and may trend lower here in the near term. The report was deemed friendly in regards to corn, with the 2014 yield revised lower, causing both U.S. and world ending stocks to be revised lower as well. Both good news in regards to price direction. However, the corn market does have some things that's working against it. The bearish bean and wheat report may weigh it down. Also, the plummeting crude market and surging dollar are all providing some headwind for the corn market to push against. This may keep the bulls at bay for now. In regards to wheat, the USDA report failed to provide any friendly news, with both U.S. and world ending stocks increasing. We've mentioned before that the rally we saw in wheat in mid-December was based on rumors of Russia limiting exports. That rumor loses a lot of its momentum if the perception is there that there's plenty of wheat in the meantime to make up the difference.
It seems as if that is where we're at today. If you have any questions on these markets or any market, give us a call at 888-452-8751. Have a productive day.
Closed captioning brought to you by Dick Edwards in Manhattan, selling America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150, for over 30 years. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. kansassoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Dick Edwards Auto Plaza in Junction City, home of this year's Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram Truck. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Well, that's our show for today. I hope you'll join us each week for more news and information about agriculture in the state of Kansas. I'm Brian Holman, and thanks for watching.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Tammy the Pro Home Plus is all about providing warmth and kindness to aging individuals who find it difficult to live on their own. Tammy's team is made up of experienced caregivers and nurses committed to the highest level of individualized care, focusing on health and well-being, and assisting with nutrition, grooming, medications, therapies, and daily living needs, all in a warm, caring environment. Call Tammy the Pro Home Plus today at 785-383-7094 to learn how we can help.